So what up, fam? It's your brother Cool. Brother Cool, what up, what up? Make sure everything's straight. Alright. So we back again. So today, the whole blunt truth. The whole blunt truth. And I'm pretty sure for a lot of people, hopefully this ain't new. But for those people that this is new, all I'm gonna ask for you to do is to come with an open mind. Also, everything that I'm about to say is not my words, alright? It's not my words. And this is all facts. This is all congressional record facts. You know, so a lot of people will ask, why have I taken the stance I've taken? Why the change? You know, one day I'm Reginald, next day I'm Cool. What happened? What happened? What was the change? So, the change happened when I started coming across certain bits of information. And the more information I came across, the more I changed. The more my perspective changed, the more my understanding changed, the more my vision changed of what's real and what is not real. So, that being said, now I pulled this up because this gentleman here, get a good picture, this is a good one. This gentleman here, oh, you're not even on me yet, so let's go. This gentleman here, his name is James Traficant. Okay? I'm doing this so you can put a face to the name. Okay? This is James Traficant. Yo, what's up?
Everywhere I go, I'm taking.
Alrighty, I'm doing a podcast, okay? So try to be a little bit low, alright?
What's
So,
a podcast?
Podcast means it's a live feed, so people can watch me live right now. Alright, that's what it means when you say live podcast, meaning it's live. So when I do this, people see me do this. Right now. Alright? Let me share some with them, okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Let me go hook you up. Okay?
It's soda and get a drink.
You put it in a cup?
Not for me.
Alright, so this, like I said, this is James Traficant. Alright? I'm just pulling up various, so once again, born 1941, beamed up in 2014. The reason why beamed up is one of his, beamed up is like one of his you know, that's like one of his words. Alright? He always says that. You can even look him up on YouTube. Alright? He has tons of videos. Alright? So research this guy, James Traficant. Alright? Now, it's gonna get a little crazy. We're gonna pull this up right here. Alright? Make this a little bigger. Okay. So remember now, this isn't my words. Okay? This is not the words of Coop. Alright? So, the speaker rep James Traficant Jr. Okay? James Traficant Jr. from Ohio, addressing the House. He's representing Ohio. Okay? Remember now, this is March 17th, 1993. All right? Mr. Speaker, we are here now in Chapter 11. Whoa, Chapter 11. What is Chapter 11? Let's look that up real quick. Chapter 11, Bankruptcy Basics. Chapter of the Bankruptcy Code generally provides for reorganization, usually involving a corporation or partnership. A Chapter 11 debtor usually proposes a plan of reorganization to keep its businesses alive and pay creditors over time. People and businesses or individuals can also seek relief in Chapter 11. So, Chapter 11, bankruptcy. Let's see what's bankruptcy. Bankruptcy. What does bankruptcy mean? Look up bankruptcy legal definition. Bankruptcy is a legal status. Bankruptcy is a legal status of a person or other entity that cannot repay the debts it owes to creditors. In most jurisdictions, bankruptcy is imposed by a court order, often initiated by the debtor.
Yeah.
So now we know legal status is. Let's find out what a debtor is and what a creditor is. This is all so when I start reading, we have understanding. What's a creditor?
My dummy.
What is a creditor?
This dummy.
A creditor is a what? A person or company to whom money is owed. A person or company to whom money is owed. All right, creditor. Now let's look at debtor. What is a debtor? A person or institution that owes a sum of money. All right, so a debtor is someone who owes money. A creditor is someone who is owed the money. Okay? Oh, and just so we're clear, person, a human being regarded as an individual. See here, person. Let's go with legal. All right. A legal person refers to a non-human entity that is treated as a person for limited legal purposes. Corporations, for example. Legal persons can sue and be sued, own property, and enter into contracts. All right? That's business law. That's who the person is. So now, Mr. Speaker, we are here now in Chapter 11, bankruptcy. Members of Congress are official trustees. Trustee, or the holding of a trusteeship, is a legal term which in its broadest sense can refer to any person who holds property, authority, or a position of trust or responsibility for the benefit of another. A trustee can also refer to a person who is allowed to do certain tasks but not able to gain income. Okay? So now, members of Congress are official trustees presiding over the greatest reorganization of any bankrupt entity in world history. the U.S. government. Okay? The U.S. government is a bankrupt entity. That's letting you know that the so-called government is just a corporation. It's an entity. It's a non-human thing. It's not human. It's a business. The U.S. government is a business. And the business went bankrupt. Okay? Not only did it go bankrupt, but it shows that the people over here called Black African American, who are so-called broke, are not broke. You know why we couldn't be broke? Because we are funding the greatest reorganization of any bankrupt entity in world history.
Did you just pee? Hello? Me? I can't drink in my room.
All right. So, now, members of Congress, right, are official trustees presiding over the greatest reorganization of any bankrupt entity in world history, the U.S. government. We are setting forth, hopefully, a blueprint for our future. There are some who say it is a coroner's report that will lead to our demise. Okay? It is an established fact. It is an established fact that the United States federal government has been dissolved by the Emergency Banking Act. Read that act. Okay? That was published or documented March 9th, 1933. 48 Statute 1, Public Law 89-719. Okay? Declared by President Roosevelt, being bankrupt and insolvent. What's insolvent mean? What's insolvent mean? Insolvent. Under the Uniform Commercial Code, a person is considered to be insolvent when the party has ceased to pay its debts in the ordinary course of business, or cannot pay its debts as they become due, or is insolvent within the meaning of the bankruptcy code. So insolvent meaning you can't pay your debt. You can't pay it back. All right, you broke. When you're insolvent, you broke, okay? Declared by who? President Roosevelt. Facts. Okay? Being bankrupt and insolvent. Another document you can look up, HJR 192, 73rd Congress in session, June 5th, 1933. House Joint Resolution to suspend the gold standard and abrogate the gold clause. Dissolved. 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 What does dissolved mean? Because I want to be very clear. Very clear. In law, dissolution has multiple meanings. Dissolution may also refer to the termination of a contract or other legal relationship. For example, the dissolution of a marriage or divorce. Dissolution is also a term for the legal process by which an adoption is reversed. Okay? Dissolve. Dissolve. To terminate. Abrogate. Alright? Then we see the word abrogate here just a second ago. Where we at? Resolution 192 to suspend the gold clause standard and abrogate the gold. Abrogate. Abrogate. Okay? Meaning terminate. Get rid of. Remove. Okay? The gold dissolved the sovereign authority of the United States and the official of all United States governmental offices, officers, and departments, and is further evidence that the United States federal government exists today in name only. I know, mind is blown, right? So the United States, today when we say we U.S. citizens, if you still say you a U.S. citizen, you should know better by now. You do not want to be a U.S. citizen because the United States government is bankrupt and insolvent. Why did they become bankrupt? Because they removed the gold out of the economy due to the Emergency Banking Act. All right? So the United States government is not a sovereign authority. And the reason why it's not a sovereign authority, because I'm going to put the Constitution right alongside with this. 1791 Constitution. (1791) Constitution Hey, can you put that down a little bit, please? Thank you. Alright. So. Oh yeah. This is not the Constitution fully. Let me just grab the PDF though. This is how I research too, y'all. I'm on Google today, man. See here, this is proper. See here. This looks a little weird. Ain't really gonna deal with that. This is 1787. All right, to be ratified in 1791. So, let's go. I'm gonna go right to the nitty gritty. Article, this is Article 2. We're gonna go to Article 4. Oh yeah, Article 4, right? Article 4, Section 4, meaning paragraph. So let's go. This is Section 1. Section 2, Section 3. We gotta come back up here for Section number 4. I'm tripping. That's later on. My bad. We're gonna come back to Article 4. Right now, we need to go to Article 6. Article 6 states that. Boom. 6, here we go. 5. Let me find the exact one. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't like that link. Let's go here. I like dealing with places of good standing or high name. So people hold Cornell University in high standing, right? Cornell University Law School. Let's go. 6. All debts, contracts entered into, no, it's not it. So I'm off on where that is. So let me get my mind right. See here. Gold and silver. Having a major brain fart here. This is why I gotta go through this just to find that clause. There we go. So I was tripping. That was Article 1, Section 10. So now, just because I like to do things right to make sure I ain't tripping, I'm gonna go back to that very PDF Sorry for the slowdown. Sorry for the slowdown. Let's catch back up. No, I don't like this one. This one ain't too bad. Bam. So that's Article 1, Section 10. So let's go back to Article 1. This is Article 2. Here we go. Section 10. Alright. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque and reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything, right? So no state shall make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. This is an important thing right here. Alright? No state shall make anything but gold and silver coin and tender in payment of debts. What happened here? They removed the gold, which dissolved the sovereign authority of the United States and all its official capacities. So therefore, if there's no gold, right, according to the Constitution, the entity known as the United States federal government is, here we go, here we go, here we go. Which word I'm looking for? I'm looking for, oh yeah, dissolve. Exists in name only. They're dissolved. They are what? Chapter 11, bankrupt. Okay? And they are insolvent. Insolvent. It is an established fact that the United States federal government has been dissolved by the Emergency Banking Act. Okay? They've lost their sovereign authority because they removed the gold, and only gold can be used to pay debts. The receivers of the United States bankruptcy are the international bankers via the United Nations. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The United Nations is on this. Go figure. The World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, all United States offices, officials, and departments are now operating within a de facto status in name only under emergency war powers. That means being a U.S. citizen is a state of mind because it exists in name only. So if it exists in name only, if you believe it's real, then it's real. All right? U.S. citizenship is a state of mind. Get out of that state of mind. You're gonna realize why. Well, first off, it's bankrupt. The entity, the so-called government, is an entity and it's bankrupt and insolvent. It can't pay back the gold. It can't pay back its debt. All right? Who's the creditors? The international bankers via the United Nations. Now, since they're operating in a de facto status, catch y'all back up. Since they're operating in a de facto status in name only under emergency war powers, with the constitutional republican form of government now dissolved, the receivers of the bankruptcy have adopted a new form of government for the United States. This new form of government is known as a democracy, being an established socialist communist order under a new governor for America. This act was instituted and established by transferring and or placing the office of the Secretary of Treasury to that of the Governor of the International Monetary Fund. Public Law 94-564, page 8, section HR 13955. All congressional records. Reads in part, the U.S. Secretary of Treasury receives no compensation for representing the United States. The reason why the Secretary of Treasury receives no compensation is because the United States is broke. They're bankrupt. They ain't got no gold and silver to pay the Secretary of the Treasury. Now, gold and silver were such a powerful money during the founding of the United States of America that the founding fathers declared that only gold or silver coins can be money in America. Since gold and silver coinage were heavy and inconvenient for a lot of transactions, they were stored in banks and a claim check was issued as a money substitute. People traded their coupons as money or currency. Currency is not money, but a money substitute. Redeemable currency must promise to pay a dollar equivalent in gold or silver money. So to break that down in simple terms, if I give you, right, if If I give you 5 notes, right, or 5 so-called dollar bill, okay, which is not money, but a money substitute, it's a coupon. If I give you 5 debt notes, or $5, right, or 5 notes, what you do is, if you go to the bank and you cash in that $5, you're supposed to get back $5 in either gold or silver. All right? That's how that's supposed to work. Currency is not money, but a money substitute. Redeemable currency must promise to pay a dollar equivalent in gold or silver money. Federal Reserve notes make no such promises and are not money. Okay? And just so y'all clear, what a Federal Reserve note is, I'm gonna pick the one that's most popular, right? This right here. This is not a dollar. You see why it says $1 on that? It says $1, right? Oh yeah. It says $1 here on the bottom, right? If you read this portion right here, oh yeah. See that little thing right there? I don't know if it's clear. Pull out your dollar note and read that. I'm gonna read it for you. This note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. This note, it didn't say dollar, it said this note. This is a note. This is a coupon. This is not money. This is a money substitute. Okay? This is not money.
And pull out that silver coin.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you guys to pull out.
I gotta go.
All the stuff you see, guys, is on the news.
So, this is a money substitute. This is a note. See this? This is an ounce of silver. This is money. All right? This is money. Money substitute. Real? Not real. So for this to have any type of value, it's supposed to be backed by this. So like I said, if I go to the bank and deposit this coupon, I'm supposed to get back $1 worth of silver. Okay? Money. Money. Gold and silver coin. Now, since we understand that the receivers, right? The receivers of the bankruptcy are the international bankers. Okay? So all y'all, people talking about, this is not communism. A democracy is a socialist communist order. All right? That's what a democracy is. And when the United States went bankrupt, they withdrew from being a constitutional government, a constitutional republican form of government, right? But then, if we go into, I'll pull this up. Oh, wait, why do I need to do that for? Got the count right there. Article 4, let's go back to Article 4 now. Article 3, Article 4, Section 4, right here. Make this big so y'all can see this. Alright. Article 4, Section 4. The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion and on application of the legislature or the executive when the legislature cannot be convened against domestic violence. So the United States guarantees every state in this union a republican form of government. With the constitutional republican form of government now dissolved, do you see it? It's no longer a republic. It's now a democracy. All right? The receivers of the bankruptcy have adopted a new form of government for the United States. This new form of government is known as a democracy. If you read up the Constitution, there is no democracy anywhere. Okay? This is a republic. Being an established socialist communist order under a new government for America. I read all this already. All right? So we're going to go back to this point right here. Start from right here. Currency is not money, but a money substitute. All right? Federal Reserve notes make no such promises to do what? They make no such promises to pay you back in gold or silver. Therefore, it's not money. The federal United States government and the U.S. Congress were not and have never been authorized by the Constitution for the United States of America, which is the one I'm reading here. All right? I know it says Constitution of, but understand the year, okay? 1 year after the peace treaty of 1786 was signed, all right? The Constitution for the United States of America was drawn up, and it was officially ratified in 1791, all right? 1791. That's the organic national, that's the free national constitution for the United States Republic of North America, not the United States democracy or the United States bankrupt entity. All right? So the federal United States government and the U.S. Congress were not and have never been authorized by the Constitution for the United States of America to issue currency of any kind, but only lawful money, gold and silver coin. Okay? It is essential that we comprehend the distinction between real money and paper money substitute. One cannot get rich by accumulating money substitutes. One can only get deeper into debt. I'm going to say that one more time. For all those people, my bank account is huge. I got $500,000. I got $1 million in the bank account. I got 1 million notes. One cannot get rich by accumulating money substitutes. One can only get deeper into debt. So what that means is, like Biggie said, the more money, the more problems. What he really meant to say was the more money substitute, the more debt notes, the more problems. Because the more of this you have, the deeper in debt you are. This is not money. You can't pay a debt with a debt. Understand what that's saying. This is not money. So if you have this in large sums, you're deeper in debt. You're deeper in debt. This ain't my words. All right? Deeper in debt. One cannot get rich by accumulating money substitutes. One can only get deeper into debt. We the people no longer have any money. Most Americans have not been paid any money for a very long time. Perhaps not in their entire life. Now do you comprehend why you feel broke? Now do you understand why you are bankrupt along with the rest of the country? But don't forget, when they say country, they meaning who? They mean who, right? What is a country? What is a country? Country, a state or nation, okay? The territory of a nation, the people of a district, state, or nation. So let's be more precise, right? Let's be precise. Legal definition. The portion of the Earth's surface occupied by an independent nation or people, or the inhabitants of such territory. Okay? In its primary meaning, country signifies place, and in a larger sense, the territory or dominions occupied by a community. Alright? So that's what a country is. A country is not a country without people. And a nation is people of nationalities. Okay? That's what a country is. You don't have a country without people. You don't have a state without people. You can't even have a damn village or a town without people, let alone a city or a county. All right? All these things do not exist without people. So that means whenever you're talking about a state, a country, you're talking about the people. You're not talking about a bankrupt entity like the United States government. Okay? Federal Reserve notes are unsigned checks written on a closed account. I can't stress this line more than this. Federal Reserve notes are unsigned checks written on a closed account. Do this one more time here. Federal Reserve notes are unsigned checks written on a closed account. Not an open account, a closed account. Not an open account, a closed account. FRNs are an inflatable paper system designed to create debt through inflation. And inflation is the devaluation of currency. All right, currency is the money substitute. Like if one day a bag of bread was $2, and tomorrow that same bag of bread is now $5. Due to what? Inflation. Meaning the price rose. The price got higher, right? Whenever there is an increase of the supply of a money substitute in the economy without a corresponding increase in the gold and silver backing, inflation occurs. So what that says, pretty much, bottom line, is that if there's a system where there's more currency than there is the money to back up the currency, inflation happens, right? So that bread, that loaf of bread became more expensive because there's more of this going around in the community, and there's not enough of this backing it up. All right, that's what that means. Now, I want to highlight all that. Why do I have to highlight all that? Inflation, this is where I'm reading from. Inflation is an invisible form of taxation. Inflation is an invisible form of taxation that irresponsible governments inflict on their citizens. So inflation doesn't happen by accident. All right? Every time inflation happens in this economy, it happens intentionally. It's done on purpose. Okay? The Federal Reserve Bank, who controls the supply and movement of FRNs, has everybody fooled. They have access to an unlimited supply of FRNs, paying only for the printing cost of what they need. So this is why the bankrupt United States can print, or the Federal Reserve Bank, I should say, can print unlimited amounts of debt notes and put it into circulation into the system, but have no type of gold or silver backing it. Okay? So they're not spending anything to make these notes. It costs the same to make $1, the same it costs to make 5, the same it costs to make 10, 20, 50, 100. The printing cost is the same. Okay? FRNs are nothing more than promissory notes for U.S. Treasury securities, T-bills, a promise to pay the debt to the Federal Reserve Bank. There is a fundamental difference between paying and discharging a debt. To pay a debt, you must pay with value or substance, i.e. gold, silver, barter, or a commodity. Okay? With FRNs, you can only discharge a debt. All right? With FRNs, you can only discharge. You can't pay the debt because you can only pay a debt with gold or silver. You cannot pay a debt with a debt currency system. You cannot service a debt with a currency that has no backing in value or substance. No contract in common law is valid unless it involves an exchange of good and valuable consideration. Unpayable debt transfers power and control to the sovereign power structure. that has no interest in money, law, equity, or justice because they have so much wealth already. Their lust for power and control. Since the inception of central banking, they have controlled the fates of nations, aka the fates of people, aka the fates of the country. The Federal Reserve System is based on the canon law and the principles of sovereignty protected in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. In fact, the international bankers used a canon law trust as their model, adding stock and naming it a joint stock trust. Now, do you comprehend the stock market? It's a joint stock trust. Who's the stock? The stock, we're going to find out who the stock is in a second. Huh? You got potty? Huh? You going potty? No? Okay.
Huh? I'm sick.
Yes. Now, adding stock, right? A joint stock trust. So, being that it's a joint stock trust, all right, the stock are the people, or the so-called. Well, let's just keep riding. Let's just keep reading. The U.S. Congress had passed a law making it illegal for any legal person, remember what a legal person is, to duplicate a joint stock trust in 1873. So meaning not only did they create a trust to, excuse my French, to fuck us over, they patented it. So no other group of people can come up with the same plan. They can't duplicate it, meaning someone else cannot take what the international bankers have used to fuck us over. All right? They patented it. The Federal Reserve Act was legislated post facto to 1870, although post facto laws are strictly forbidden by the Constitution. You know what I'm saying? Article 1, Section 9, Clause 3. The Federal Reserve System is a sovereign, guys. The Federal Reserve System is a sovereign power structure, separate and distinct from the federal United States government. Meaning the Federal Reserve Bank is not part of the government, it's separate. Okay? The Federal Reserve is a maritime lender. Yeah, go ahead. Use sandals. Alright.
Here.
So the Federal Reserve System is a sovereign power structure separate and distinct from the federal United States government. The Federal Reserve is a maritime lender and or a maritime insurance underwriter to the federal United States, operating exclusively under Admiralty maritime law. The lender or underwriter bears the risk, and the maritime law compelling specific performance in paying the interest or premiums are the same. Assets of the debtor can also be hypothecated. Hypothecated means to pledge something as a security without taking possession of it. As security by the lender, a good example of this would be like, if you're paying a car note, all right, you're using the car, but you're so-called paying an entity claiming that it's the owner, right? So that's what hypothecate. Now that entity can use that loan or that note as a security, okay, to trade. All right, so that's what it means to hypothecate. So you're still riding around with the car thinking you're paying off the note, and someone is, when you're not paying the principal, you're paying the interest, meaning the principal never goes down. Not only that, but you're driving the car and someone else is taking that very same security and trading it and making more money, or I should say accumulating more debt off of that. right? But if you don't pay that note, they'll come and take the car, right? So, the Federal Reserve Act stipulated that the interest on the debt was to be paid in gold. I'm going to say this again. All those people who have car notes and whatever, loans, and you're paying interest, you're only supposed to pay interest in gold. That's what the Federal Reserve Act stipulated. The Federal Reserve Act is what brought the Federal Reserve Bank into existence. So the Federal Reserve Act is literally the blueprint of the Federal Reserve Bank. Okay? And the Federal Reserve Act stipulated that the interest on the debt was to be paid in gold. If it ain't paid in gold, it ain't paid. All right? Prior to 1913, most Americans owned clear allodial title to property, free and clear of any liens or mortgages until the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. So do you see the fuckery? So things like mortgage or loans or rent, most Americans own their home free and clear before 1913. All right, 1913 is also when the Prophet, right, created or organized the Canaanite temple in Jersey. Although if you do deeper research, you'll realize that it wasn't the Prophet who created that. It was Saliman. All right, Kunani Saliman. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Kunani Saliman. Give me 1 second. Hello? Yeah. Rumba Notes? It's called Rumba Notes. Yeah, Rumba. R-U-M-B-A. And Rumba. Mm-hmm. I don't know what restaurant you're talking about. Oh, it's not Ethiopia. It's a Kenyan restaurant. I forgot the name of it. Yeah, I forgot the name of that joint. If you just Google map it, you should see it right next to it. It's literally right next door. Okay. All right, no problem. Okay. Kunani Saliman, just so y'all realize I'm not just throwing out names and making shit up, okay? Also known as Saliman the Magnificent. Do the research on him. Okay? All right, the 10th and longest reigning sultan of the Ottoman Empire. And y'all already know what the Ottoman Empire was. Real shit, all right? So do your research on this man right here. This is the man who organized the Canaanite temple in 1913, all right? And then not taking anything away from Prophet Ali, but I'm just putting the record straight. This is the man, all right? This is the man who laid the blueprint. A lot of how the system functions now is based off of his brilliant mind, okay? Do the research, man. It's important. And if you don't, just to make it a little bit more clear, Saliman was the brother of Mansa Musa, the richest man on the planet. Yeah, that's his brother. All right, look him up. Back now. Hypothecated, right? All property within the federal United States to the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve in which the trustees, stockholders, held legal title. The U.S. citizen, tenant, or franchisee, okay, franchisee, whoa, what's a franchisee? What's a franchisee? Franchisee, Franchisee, eh? An individual or company that holds a franchise for the sale of goods or the operation of a service. So the U.S. citizen is a franchisee. was registered as a beneficiary of the trust via his or her birth certificate. This is very important here. So the U.S. citizen, the U.S. citizen, what would be considered the U.S. citizen? The state ID card, which is not an ID because it has a expiration date on there. Okay? It's a franchisee. It's in all caps. It's an entity. It's a non-human entity. That's what a U.S. citizen is. A non-human entity. All right? And that entity is the registered beneficiary of the trust via the birth certificate. Now, do you understand why people are authenticating the birth certificate? Okay? In 1933, the federal United States hypothecated all of the present and future properties, assets, and labor of their subjects. The 14th Amendment, U.S. citizen. Okay? So when you claim to be a U.S. citizen, this is what you're attaching yourself to. All right? This is what you're attaching yourself to when you claim to be black or African American. This is what you attach yourself to when you claim to not know who your ancestors are and you don't have a nationality. This is what you're attached to by default. This is the trust you are stuck in. Okay? In return, the Federal Reserve System agreed to extend the Federal United States Corporation all the credit, right, which is still a money substitute. So even credit is not real money. The only real money is gold and silver. Anything else is a substitute. It has to has to hold actual value. If it don't hold no value, it's not worth anything. All right? Now, like any other debtor, the federal United States government had to assign collateral and security to their creditors as a condition. Who are their creditors? The international bankers. As a condition of the loan. As a condition of the loan. Who took out a loan? The United States bankrupt entity. Who gave them the loan? The international bankers. And you know, in any loan, there are terms and agreements. Okay, so in order for the international bankers to fund the United States, their terms were you have to operate as a democracy. You have to use something as collateral. What can you present as a collateral for this loan? The present and future properties, assets, and labor of the people who identify as U.S. citizens, which is 14th Amendment citizens. Okay? Which are franchisees, which are companies, corporations, right, that offer services. Since the federal United States didn't have any assets, since the United States federal government didn't have any assets, since the United States federal government didn't have any assets, since the United States federal government did not have any assets, they assigned the private property of their, this is crucial, they assigned what? The private property of their economic slaves, the U.S. citizens, as collateral against the unpayable federal debt. They also pledged the unincorporated federal territories, national parks, forests, birth certificates, and nonprofit organizations as collateral against the federal debt. All has already been transferred as payment to the international bankers. So the international bankers got paid already. All right? There ain't nothing to pay them. They got paid already. The United States got paid already. I mean, the United States paid them already using the U.S. citizens as collateral. And everything that the U.S. citizen produces, conducts business as, going down to the Social Security, birth certificate, all those nonprofit organizations, national parks, all that was used as security or collateral and has been transferred as payment to the international bankers. All right? So they got paid already. They got paid and we still getting played. All right? Unwittingly, America has returned to its pre-American Revolution. Feudal roots whereby all land is held by a sovereign And the common people had no rights to hold a loyal title to property, meaning only the king owned property and everyone else paid rent, paid mortgage, couldn't own nothing. Everything was rent. Everything was a note. Everything is a car note. All right? Rather than you just owning the car outright. Once again, we the people are the tenants and sharecroppers, renting our own property. Renting our own property. Renting our own property from a sovereign in the guise of the Federal Reserve Bank. We the people have exchanged one master for another, meaning we exchanged ourselves as the master for a foreigner. This has been going on for over 80 years without the informed knowledge of the American people. Without a voice protesting loud enough, now it's easy to grasp why America is fundamentally bankrupt. Why don't more people own their properties outright? Oh, I know why. Because the United States federal government is bankrupt, insolvent. They have no money. They exist in name only. Okay? They don't have no money. They don't have no money. And the moment they took out that loan, they removed or they changed from a Republican form to a democracy. Okay? And living in that democracy form of government, which is a communist form of government, this is why people can't own property. Okay? This is why the people don't own their property outright, because they're still living in a democratic form of government. Come back to the constitutional fold of government, like the prophet said. All right? Come back to the constitutional fold, which means what is your name and nationality? Who do you descend from? Your birthright. Who are your ancestors? Who's your mother? What rights do you have here? Or were you just brought over here on some slave ships that nobody can find? You feel me? Why are 90% of Americans mortgaged to the hilt and have little or no assets after all debts and liabilities have been paid? Why does it feel like you are working harder and harder and getting less and less? We are reaping what has been sown, and the result of our harvest is a painful bankruptcy and a foreclosure on American property, precious liberties, and a way of life. Few of our elected representatives in Washington, D.C. have dared to tell the truth. The federal United States is bankrupt. Our children will inherit this unpayable debt and the tyranny to enforce paying it. America has become completely bankrupt in world leadership, financial credit, and its reputation for courage, vision, and human rights. This is an undeclared economic war, bankruptcy, and economic slavery of the most corrupt order. Wake up, America. Take back your country. Okay? So wake up, y'all, and take back your country. Take back your country. Come back to the constitutional fold of government. Come back. Come back home. All right? We are in a form of economic slavery. So when the gold got confiscated in 1933 under President Roosevelt, that was an undeclared economic war on the people. All right? So to be a U.S. citizen means to be a member of a communistic form of government. So anytime you say you're a U.S. citizen, you're saying you're a communist. You a Nazi. All right? That's what you're saying. You're saying that you are property of the international bankers. All right? You are their property. You are their booty and prize. So this is why I speak about the importance of having a trust, the importance of declaring who you are and tying yourself back to the Moorish family. You know what I'm saying? By name and by deed, by actions. All right? So, like I said, which trust do you choose to be a part of? You choose to be a part of a bankrupt, insolvent trust, a democracy type trust, a communistic type trust, or do you choose to Go back to the ancient ways and thoughts of your ancestors. Create your own private trust, because they took all of our private property as collateral. So as long as we stay within the United States, we cannot own anything. The United States owns it and is using it as collateral. Okay? So, once again, nationality and trust is the order of the day. Nationality and trust. Without your nationality, you don't have any rights. You don't have any constitutional or treaty rights. Without your trust, your property is not secured. Your property is not protected. Your property is not private if it's not in your private trust, in your free national name. When you declare yourself a national, and meaning a national is the Aboriginal peoples, meaning the different peoples of the different tribes who were here before European colonization. To be a national, or to be a true American, which is the various copper-colored peoples found here by the Europeans. So when you say you're American, that's what it means. American. This is American. Okay? This is an American. So if someone were to say, if you were to say see American in a dictionary, what you should see is a picture of a melanated person or a melanated mother. Matter of fact, it should be a melanated woman. Okay? When you see American, it should be a big picture of a melanated woman right next to American, so you can understand when you say American, who are the Americans? The Americans are the various copper-colored peoples found here in America, or discovered, so-called discovered by the Europeans. Okay? And this is it, man. This is why it's important to separate from this company, this bankrupt, dissolved company. You need to cut ties. And for those who are in a position where they can't just abruptly cut the tie, they gotta smoothly transition. You're on the path. It don't matter the pace. What I'm saying is, get the fuck out. Get out. Get out of, come up out of Rome. Come up out of slavery. Come up out of the United States bankruptcy. The United States so-called federal government. Come up out of it. Be yourself. And while you're still transitioning to come up out, you can start to put things, you can start to put processes in order. But you can't do that, for one, if you don't own your body, and for two, if you don't have a trust. You are your own foreign trust. It's important, because if you create trusts in the United States that's not owned by a foreign private trust, then that is called a domestic trust. Okay? So domestically, it's owned by the United States, meaning the United States courts have the final say over what takes place in that trust, over your affairs as a human being. So pretty much the choosing to remain a U.S. citizen and stay within the United States, you're choosing to remain a child. You're choosing to remain a child. That's the blunt, straight up fact. If you can't see the importance of coming up out of the United States, forming your own government, being your own, creating your own, then that means you're okay with being a slave. You're okay with being on someone else's schedule. Okay? You're okay with not being the master of your own destiny. That's what you're saying. If you're not willing to see the truth and realize that you need to make some changes. Majorly. Because if you don't, the cycle is just going to perpetuate. It's going to keep on going in circles and circles and circles and circles and circles. All right? So we need to come into realization that we are the Aboriginal peoples here. We are the Americans. We're the American people who have been duped. Okay? We've been duped. Everyone else who lives here on this continent, whose ancestors do not come from this continent, are considered immigrants. No ill will in that statement. That's just a fact. All right? Anyone who's here who is not whose blood does not come from this from the dirt on this continent, you are an immigrant. Fact. It just means that this ain't your home. That's all. It just means you ain't home. You in someone else's crib. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. No different than, people who go through different apartments looking for different roommates. If one situation doesn't work, you move on to the next situation. You move on to a better place, dealing with better people, a better environment. All right? No different. No different. But like I said, if you don't own, or if you have not proclaimed who you are in your mind, most importantly first, and then in society, in the public, and then you don't have your own private foreign trust created outside the United States bankruptcy, you're fucked. You can't own no property because you're still considered property. That's what the U.S. citizen is. Property. Economic slave. Do you want to still be an economic slave? Do you still choose to be ignorant? Because if you choose to be ignorant, what you're saying is you're okay with being a minor. You're okay with being black. You're okay with being treated like a child. And you're okay with not owning any property. Outright. In a Lodio title. So be yourself, fam. That's all I'm saying. Be yourself. Be yourself, be yourself, be yourself. And that's pretty much all I want to discuss. Just that document right there, man. And, just to, further. So I've created another page, just to catch everyone up. I've created another, this page in particular is paid subscription. And what I'm doing on this page is I'm going through processes, meaning how-tos, right? I'm getting into the specifics of things. So I'm going through things here so you guys can see for yourself. All right. So the paid channel is called Sunel University. Let's go to my channel. All right. So this is my channel right here, Sunel University. Once again, it's a paid subscription. All right. It's $19.99 a month. The first 14 days are free. All right. You have a 2-week free trial. These are the videos I've posted so far. All right. Process of proclaiming nationality on the record. All right. Process of so this is the same part 1, part 2. IRS form W8 Ben workshop. So I go in depth on how to fill out these documents. You know what I'm saying? How to open up a bank account. That'll be a video that'll be up on here. So I'm building the catalog of how-tos. Right? So that'll be the workshop of how-tos. Like I said, how to open up a bank account, how to get a job without using the Social Security and using your trust. How to work in the system and operate in your private capacity, regardless of the bankruptcy of the United States, and still be protected. Your property is untouched. It's not used as security or collateral on the stock market. That's what it means to have your own private trust. It's not used as collateral on the stock market. Point blank, period. It's private. Okay? It's private, and it is religious. It's a church. All right? And church is whatever you make it. If you make your own church, that's your church. Church is whatever you make it. All right? And everyone protects their properties through religion. Once again, religion means back to light. So come back to the light, y'all. Come back to the light. All right? There is a light at the end of the tunnel, but if you don't know what type of tunnel you in, how you gonna know which one the light's gonna be shining through? All right? So, I just wanted to show this just to give you guys, like I said, and when it pops up, normally it'll ask you to just start the free trial before it allows you to see any videos. Now I had a brother in Canada hit me up pretty much saying that he couldn't see the video, so I'll be working on that to rectify that situation and find out what's the deal with that. All right. But like I said, this is my paid subscription channel, $19.99 a month. All right. I'm pretty sure, 20 debt notes a month, everyone can afford. All right. There's more than so-called 30 more than so-called 30 days in a month. So, you know, if you just put $1 a day, you still got another 10 days left. All right. So that being said, you know what I'm saying, and I'm putting this information out. So help support me, and of course I'm doing what I can to support you guys. All right. As I'm building, we building. So, you know, once again, this is the paid subscription channel. So just come on through to Suno University, subscribe. All right. And you know, that's, you know, and that's pretty much it. That's just all I wanted to speak on today. So thank you for your time, fam. Hope this video's been of use. You know, after seeing this video, go watch The Matrix. Go watch The Matrix. Please, go watch The Matrix. And remember that document and watch and listen, and you'll see what the game is about.